Dear students, welcome to our first medical diagnostic class, and today we are going to start our first chapter, that is Introduction to Pathology. What is the meaning of pathology? Pathology can be divided into two parts. Actually, the word pathology is coming from the Greek word pathos and logos. Pathos means the suffering condition or diseased condition, and logos means the study. So what is the meaning of pathology? The study of the suffering condition or diseased condition of any person. Physiology means the study of the normal body condition, and pathology means the study of the diseased condition. Basically, the term pathology is dependent upon three main important terms. Number one, etiology. Etiology means the cause of the disease. Morphology means due to this disease which kind of gross, that means overall, and microscopic changes has been arrived in the cells or tissues. And the third one is pathogenesis. What is the meaning of pathogenesis? Mechanism, how the disease can be happened, the mechanism of the disease, that is called as the pathogenesis. Etiology means cause, morphology means gross or microscopic examination, and pathogenesis means the mechanism of the disease. Now, after learning this chapter, what you will going to learn? When you are learning the chapter medical, the subject medical diagnostic, obviously it will be helpful for you to be known with many relevant terms that are used in the medical field. You will be aware of many procedures and the working of equipments, basically which are used in the hospital field. As a doctor or as a medical professional, it will be very helpful for you, because after the senior secondary level only you will be aware of the relevant medical terms, the procedures, and the working of the equipments, basically in the clinical pathology laboratory. Now, the organization of a clinical pathology laboratory, how it works. In any kind of clinical pathology laboratory, basically it is working under a laboratory head. The laboratory head is the person who is taking care of the whole laboratory, and then the skilled employees. The skilled employees are the technicians who are supervising in the laboratory, and the third is the unskilled employees who are working as the assistant. That means the unskilled employees are learning how to work in the laboratory. So whenever any person is entering inside the laboratory, at first they will be unskilled employees and they will work as the laboratory assistant. Then when those unskilled person will become skilled and they will learn how to do all kind of work, then they will be called as the supervisor. And after that, after getting the promotion, that person can also be the laboratory head. So, as a laboratory person, if you will work in any kind of laboratory, you should have a close communications with the other departments also. Okay, just you have to, like if you are working in the hematology laboratory, you have to have the close communication with the blood bank. If you are working in the biochemistry laboratory, you will have to have the close contact with the microbiology or hematology laboratory, just like that. But you have to maintain the separate and distinct supervision also. Now, the chief of the laboratory should be trained pathologist. Why? Because the trained pathologist will be generating the accurate report, and this is very important. If the personnel of the laboratory is generating any kind of wrong report, or if they are doing any mistake, then the whole process of the medical system will be hampered. How? Because based on the laboratory report only, the doctors are doing the treatment. So, the patient's life is completely dependent upon the specific report that is generated from the laboratory. Basically, the laboratory has four definite separated area. Reception, the place where the patient at first they are going. Then the specimen collection room, where the trained personnel will collect the specimen from the patient. Then the third one is the processing area, where all kind of test will be done with that collected specimen. And the third one will be the reporting room, where the report will be generated in accurate manner. Okay. Now, which kind of knowledge and skill will be generated? Just the first one, to understand the scope of clinical pathology. As a personnel, you have to understand the scope of clinical pathology. Which kind of work you can do when you are working in the pathology laboratory. To know the organizational structure of the clinical pathological laboratory. That means where, which kind of machines are kept, which kind of equipments are kept, how they are working, what is the working principles of those equipments, that you have to know. You will get the idea on that. And third one, to know the relevant terms, procedures and working of the equipments, especially which are used in the clinical pathology laboratory. Now, what after learning this chapter, what will be your learning outcome? What you can do? The first one, you can demonstrate the knowledge, comprehension and application of general techniques. Which kind of techniques? Specimen accessioning, manual methods, routine general examination and microscopic examination. That means you can collect the specimen, you can process the specimen, you can do the general examination of the specimen, and you can perform the microscopic examination of the specimen also. Secondly, set up, operate and maintain the routine instruments. That is very important. Okay, you have to set up properly, operate properly and maintain the instruments in proper way, because those instruments will be helpful to give the accurate result of the patient specimen. Then thirdly, solve basic problems associated with the reagents and methods of general techniques. Whatever techniques you are using, that should be correct. Whatever reagents you are using, that also should be proper. So you have to identify all those things. Fourth point, apply the principles of lab safety. It is very important. Like, you should not wear the any kind of long dresses which can come very close contact with the specimen, because sometimes the specimen also can be infectious and you also can get the infection from that specimen. So you have to maintain the safety rules of the laboratory also. And fifth point, ensure the quality control while performing the general procedure. You have to maintain the quality control. You cannot compromise with the quality of the general procedure. Okay, because the report accuracy will be fully dependent upon that procedure. Now we will learn about the types of pathology. I will show you one video through which you can see the different types of pathology.
What is pathology?
Pathology is Greek word. Patho mean disease, logi means study. So pathology is study and diagnosis of diseases. Pathology involves to the basic mechanism of diseases. Currently, pathology can be divided into 8 main areas, depending on the types of methods used or the types of diseases examined. So they are:
1. General pathology.
General pathology describes a complex and broad field that involves the study of the mechanisms behind cell and tissue injury, as well as understanding how the body responds to and repairs injury. This field covers areas of pathology, but at a less specialist level.
2. Anatomical pathology.
This field is concerned with the study and diagnosis of illness through microscopic analysis of samples from bodily fluids, tissues, organs, and sometimes the entire body, or autopsy.
3. Clinical pathology.
Also referred to as laboratory medicine. Clinical pathology concerns the analysis of blood, urine, and tissue samples to examine and diagnose disease. Examples of the information clinical pathology laboratories may provide include blood count, blood clotting, and electrolyte results.
4. Chemical pathology.
Biochemists or chemical pathologists examine all aspects of disease, identifying changes in various different substances found in the blood and bodily fluids such as proteins, hormones, and electrolytes, since these changes can indicate and provide clues about disease or disease risk.
5. Genetics pathology.
Genetics involves performing tests on chromosomes, biochemical markers, and DNA taken from bodily fluids and tissues in order to detect genetic illnesses.
6. Hematology.
This field is concerned with various different disease aspects that affect the blood, including bleeding disorders, clotting problems, and anemia.
7. Immunology.
Immunologists perform immune function tests to establish whether or not a patient is suffering from an allergy, and if so, what they are allergic to.
8. Microbiology.
Microbiology is concerned with diseases caused by pathogenic agents such as bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi.
For more videos.
So we have done the first part of our introduction to pathology. Thank you very much, and in the next class we will start with our second part, that is urine analysis. Thank you very much.